The number one thing about raising capital is storytelling. If you can't tell the story, you're not ready to raise capital, according to Ken McElroy. The reason is people make decisions based on emotion and then justify it with logic. And the way to connect with somebody emotionally is through stories. We've heard stories since we were kids, and the best way to do this is to document what you do in a series like in Netflix. One day my brother told me, hey, I'm watching this really cool series about a golfer trying to go pro. I'm like, cool. And then later he said, hey, I'm watching one about a tennis player trying to go pro. And then he started watching one about an F1 driver. And the interesting thing is he doesn't watch tennis or golf or racing, but he'll watch somebody's journey behind the scenes. It's kind of like Michael Jordan's The Last Dance. We've all seen the championships, we've seen the press conferences, but it's totally different when we see Michael and all the other players share their behind the scenes perspective. The stories about how him and Isaiah didn't shake hands was super interesting. You can do this for your deals on two levels. One is the meta level and one is for the deal specific level. And this applies whether you're doing wholesaling, co-living, short-term rentals, or RV parks. Let's just take business buying, for example. If I was doing that, I would first talk about the opportunity that right now we're in the middle of a 10-year wealth transfer of baby boomers retiring and not knowing what to do with their businesses. Their kids don't want the business because parents work so hard and they weren't around, they don't want to have anything to do with it. Then I would talk about how these businesses have been around for decades, while new businesses, 95% of them fail, and they have a good client base, and there's a huge opportunity for increase in revenue because most of these businesses are old, so they're not really using social media or technology. So we can bring that in and increase the revenue, and that's how you can actually also buy a business with zero down. Let's say you need to have $20,000 to be financially free. Rental properties on average cash flow about $200, so you would need a lot of properties to get there. But you can buy one business to get you that $20,000 cash flow. You can negotiate seller financing, and the baby boomers who own the business, they want somebody to care for their business because they put their heart and soul into it for decades and they care about these relationships and they care about the customers. And you can come in using social media technology to increase the revenue so that you can make the difference, and then you can continue to pay them a set amount, and that can be their retirement fund. I would even use this hook. If you missed out on buying a home during COVID, don't miss out on this opportunity. And then go into all of that. And then you can make content in a series on the actual deals, whether it's a deal you've done before or a deal you're working on now. Or even if you've never done a deal, you could talk about somebody else's deal. For past deals, it's super interesting to talk about, hey, this is what we did. And you can break down the numbers like on a whiteboard, and you could talk about the process of that deal, how you find the property, how you negotiate it. And then you could talk about the different types of businesses that are good to buy and the pros and the cons, like a car wash or a laundromat. Talking about the past deals you've done or your partners have done will give you credibility. Another exciting way to talk about deals is the deals that you're doing or you're about to do. One way to do this is a 30-day challenge that Pace recommends. So it could be 30 days to raise $10 million, or 30 days to do a fix and flip, or 30 days to try to buy a laundromat. So each day you could talk about things like, hey, this is what we're trying to buy. We're trying to buy a laundromat in this city because of this reason, and these are the areas we're looking for. Next day you could talk about, hey, how do you find a laundromat? This is how we get a list of laundromats, and then this is how we're gonna call them, and this is our script, and then you can record the calls. Just put on speaker, record it, get another phone with the camera, and those calls are super interesting. You could clip 15, 30 seconds of the most interesting parts. And then you could talk about how you negotiate the deal. What are the things you look for? What are questions you ask? And then when you do the contract, you could talk about the contract. When you visit the property, then you can of course document that. Hey, we're here at the business with the property. These are the things we're looking for. And then you could talk about the numbers of that deal as well. And then how you're going to manage it. Who do we need to hire? What are the issues that come up usually in the transition of a business? Or if you're doing some type of rental, like short-term rental, co-living, you could talk about how do we find properties? How do we manage those properties? These are all amazing things that you can educate people and build trust through it. And I think doing it like this will get people very interested because they're gonna want to know, okay, what happened next? What happened next? Are you gonna be able to accomplish your goal in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days? And I think there's so much interest out there for the value and the knowledge that you have, because think about this. How many people out there want to make more money? Everybody, right? Because their standard of living is so high. And how many people want to get into real estate investing or business buying? Probably a lot, because most of us know somebody who's successful at real estate, but they just don't know how to get in or what that's even like. Before I got into sub 2, the only thing I knew about real estate investing was flips. But of course, there's so much more than that. And what'll happen is as people follow your content and you're educating them and building that trust, they can bring you deals Like, hey, my friend's parents are retiring and can you look at their business? Or my friend has this property, it's a fixer-upper and they're having trouble selling it. Can you do this and make it a flip or a short-term rental? Also, you're gonna get capital because as you break down the numbers and people see how profitable it is, 99% of the people aren't gonna go do the thing. So they'll just reach out to you and say, hey, can I invest in one of your deals? And then there's testimonials. Testimonials in today's world is the most powerful social proof. It's more powerful than writing a New York Times bestseller or appearing on a TV show. And a super easy way to do testimonials is just invite somebody to a Zoom call, record it, and have somebody edit it. Side note, my editor told me it's really hard to edit the Zoom recordings because of just the quality, so use Riverside to make it a lot easier for them. For our foreclosure deals, we interview the homeowners, and it's awesome to help people see the impact that they get to make. Or if you're doing co-living, you can interview one of the tenants. Hey, tell us your story of why you did co-living, and why were you looking for a place to rent? What were the rents like, and how was that for your financial situation? And basically show how co-living provides affordable housing to people. Another thing you can do is interview the person doing the deal. Why did you decide to develop this deal? Why did you decide to go into co-living? And tell a story so that the more people know the people involved and their hearts and their mission, then the more that builds trust. And one of the best people to do this is Pace Morby. I found out that he does 90% of his Instagram reels himself, and he doesn't use any app besides the Instagram app. So follow him and look how he does it. And in our social media resources, which we'll put the link below, check out the video by Omar El Takouri called Stop Trying to Make Content, but Be the Content. Okay, so here's the application. Spend 30 minutes to an hour and brainstorm and write down how, for your deal, you're going to create content at a meta level, all the different topics you can make, and then also on a deal specific level, and schedule a Zoom interview with somebody for a testimonial this week. And then put into the comments what you do and your content ideas so that other people can learn from you and vice versa. Let's take action together, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with.